Welcome to the morning after CFFL edition, week 3. We'll get right away into the action. Another crazy week in the CFFL, and of course, like I promised last week, we do have one of our sideline reporters has a breaking story this week, and it's gonna be big. So we'll get right to the scores this week and see what happened the week that was in week 3. First of all, we saw the Badgers take down the Donkeys 77.5 to 52.5. Badgers moved to 3-0 and also have their third straight High Point win. They've just been dominant this year. Rashad Jennings and Marshawn Lynch were great, 33.5 points combined. Giovanni Bernard for the Donkeys did have 14 points for the second straight week, but they do fall to 1-2. Also in that division, we saw the Garbage Men pull out a 1-point victory over the Kongs. Second straight 1-point game for the Kongs. Last week a win by a point, this week a loss by a point. Both teams are at 1-2. Andrew Luck had a huge day for the Garbage Men with 24.5 points. Peyton Manning at 16 and a losing effort for the Kongs. Bone Storm take down the team Little Big Men 76.5 to 47.5. Niall Davis and Pierre Garcon combined for 27 for the Bone Storm. Victor Cruz at 12 in his first really good game in about a year for the Little Big Men as they fall to 1-2. In Rogers We Trust took down Black Dingoes 60 to 53. Adam Vinatieri had 16 points for Team Rebec, while Antonio Brown had 2 touchdowns and 16.5 points for the Dingoes as they fall to 2-1. Both teams are tied atop the division. Also in a battle of teams that are now tied, Horn Dogs fall to 2-1 as they fall to the Cardinals. Julio Jones had 21 points. The Cardinals scored 75 this week to the Horn Dogs 58, and the Horn Dogs were led by Russell Wilson's 15.5, but not enough. Horn Dogs do have the points lead as the tiebreaker in that division. Finally, in that division, the long streak is over. The 6-game losing streak for the Bruisers is over. They take down the Gargos 51.5 to 48. The Bruisers were a 17-point underdog in this upset of the week. Tony Romo had 12.5 points. Nick Foles had 20 for Bernie, like I said, as they snapped the streak. This was a much better week in fantasy in that there was no crazy injuries for anyone that I can really remember. There was maybe 1 or 2 injuries, but nothing earth-shattering like there was the week before. And a lot of those injuries actually weren't as bad. AJ Green ended up playing. Jamal Charles did practice and looks like he'll play this week. No Sean Moreno still out. Ryan Matthews still out. And Mark Ingram still out. But otherwise, the major injuries that happened the week before don't look as bad now. This week, the player of the week, as we talked about earlier, Andrew Luck. 370 yards passing, 4 touchdowns passing, 15 yards rushing, which combined for 24.5 points. I believe his best game as a pro, at least in fantasy, during the fantasy season. But maybe he's turning that corner into what everyone said he would be, into one of those elite passers. Now, we will have to see as the weeks go on. Walk of Shame this week was tough. There wasn't an easy one like the Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson giving me the softballs. Just a lob right out there. Smash. This week it was a little more challenging, but LaShawn McCoy, 20 carries for 22 yards and 1 point. It's just unbelievable. The Eagles have been able to run, but he has really struggled this year. Top 3 picks especially have really been disappointing, which will feed into our next segment. But LaShawn McCoy, no injuries or anything like that. He's just struggled so far, but probably just means a breakout is coming very soon for Mr. McCoy. And the Horn Dogs have to be happy that they've gone 2-1 with LaShawn McCoy doing pretty much nothing this year. Next up, we have the Gripes this week, and Griff's griping this week about a couple things. Most importantly, the bust in the top of the draft. Good thing we all drafted running backs earlier this year. Listen to these point totals from the top running backs in week 3. Adrian Peterson, 0. Due to suspension. LaShawn McCoy, 1. Jamal Charles, 0 due to injury. Eddie Lacy, 1.5 points. And also Matt Forte, because was sent before, and then had 3.5 in his best outing of the year. I think next year I'm drafting a defense in the first round to be safe. Or maybe Seattle's 12th man will be an eligible player next year. Oh, and the Packers sucked again. Normally, Griff, I would comment on the Packers, but I cannot say a thing after the Buccaneers laid the ultimate egg on Thursday night. That was just ugly. But as for fantasy, it's funny that the best player so far in the top elite running backs has been Marshawn Lynch, the guy who held out and got a contract extension, which usually means the guy will struggle. But yeah, he's been the best so far. Not many front-end running backs. DeMarco Murray's been good. It's been a strange year in the CFFL. Arian Foster's been good, but he did miss this week. And it looks like that could be a lingering issue. So yeah, the first-round running backs this year have been miserable. Speaking of running backs in the Yo Bitch top free agent target, we have Matt Asiata. If you look at those stats, you'll say that's terrible. 35 yards rushing, but the most important part, at this point, he is a starter for the Vikings. How long that'll last, that's still up in the air, but as of now, he is a starter. Now we can get to our sideline reporter, who has really had a rough time already this morning. She had a vet appointment, but Judy here is going to talk to you a little bit about her story. As you can see here, healthy little girl, 17 pounds, but Judy has some breaking news to shed and ugly truth about one of the league owners. So let's get to your story here, Judy. You put this together last night, so walk me through it. Judy investigates. She says she's an underfed Basset. She was fed 2 cups a day for the first 2 days she was here. That is the same amount her brother gets when he eats. He gets 2 cups a day, 2 different servings. However, when we read the package closer, it should have been 3 cups a day. So she's actually now getting 3 cups a day. So she feels that it's terrible Basset abuse. And as you can see from that picture, she says that is exactly what a Basset should look like. That's the picture of happiness right there in the world of Judy. As commissioner, I'm really looking into this. You know, I'm hearing some word that some sponsors might be pulling from us. ESPN has talked about leaving. You know, a couple other people, Alpo, Toys R Us, which supports us, due to our other sideline reporter. We got a lot of things to look at, so you know, I'm gonna have to investigate, and we're gonna have to do some hard thinking here about this. You know, I'm gonna have to take some time off and see what's gonna happen here. But until we get to that, let's look at what the week ahead brings for us in the CFFL. Big game next week. Team in Rogers we trust against the Cardinals, both 2-1, facing off, and a battle of teams trying to keep their season alive as the Gargoyles take on the Garbage Men at 1-2. And also, as you can see there, yep, the commissioner did just hand it down. I've been suspended these next 2 days, today and tomorrow. I'm not allowed to do any signings or any trades or anything like that, so I have to stay away from team headquarters. In this time, if you have any trade requests, please send them to Emma or Jenna. But again, they'll probably be under strict rules not to accept anything. But right now, yep, I'm suspended for the next 2 days. I will be back on Thursday, but I'm suspended for the next 2 days to really think about what I need to do. And Judy, when you get your wish, you're getting fed now a little more often. So you're a good puppy, and we will see everyone next week. I'll be back from my suspension. Have a good week, and good luck to everyone.